Our first comic enjoys Aperol Spritz, staying indoors, and debating the cultural relevance of A Star Is Born. He also co-hosts the weekly queer nostalgia podcast, Throwback Thursday. Give it up for Nasser Samara.
So when I travel, I don't dress like the beautiful model you see before you now. I like to be comfortable. Sweatpants, baggy clothes, Rosie O'Donnell on a good day. And while I'm in line, I try not to talk. I try to act very masculine. I know it's difficult to imagine. And very Muslim. Whatever that means to you. And when I get to the front of the line, that's always when TSA says, "Excuse me, sir, you've been randomly selected for additional screening." And then that's when I do my best Queer Eye Jonathan Van Ness impression, and I say, "What? Me? Oh, yes, additional screening. Oh, choke me, spank me, pat me down." I walk right through. See, guys? Oh, together we can make racial profiling fun again. Oh, it's my kind of activism. Oh, speaking of that, I canceled my Equinox membership. Oh, thank you. I'm fine. It was the easiest decision I've ever had to make. I was so angry when I found out where my money was going. But I was worried they weren't going to let me out of my contract. So I figured, what's the best way to do this? So I figured I'd write a bunch of emails, put my anthropology and women's studies degrees to really good use, get real sassy. But there was a bit of a back and forth, which then I started to realize, oh my God, these emails might not work. You need to come up with a backup plan. So one thing about me is I'm really bad in confrontation. I always don't say the right thing or forget to say the right thing. And I had to basically make a speech. What would I say in the heat of this moment? But it ended up being more of a dialogue. If Equinox says this, what are you gonna say? And if they say that, what are you gonna respond with? Well, as it turns out, the emails worked, and I didn't get to do this big speech that I planned. And I have to say, I was a little disappointed because I thought this could have been a really good lesson for me in my self-confidence, standing up for myself. So if I can, I'd like to read to you what I was going to say to Equinox. Is that all right? Okay. Thank you. Okay. Upon further reflection, when I reread what I wrote, it was very clear that I was heavily inspired by Joan Crawford. But not just Joan Crawford, Faye Dunaway as Joan Crawford in the 1981 classic Mommy Dearest. So I think what would be an even better lesson for me is if I read this to you as me, as Faye Dunaway, as Joan Crawford, telling Equinox why they should let me out of my contract. But there wasn't enough in the budget for me to have someone be the reader of Mr. Equinox, so I'll have to do both roles. Fade in. Hello, I see you called this meeting to get out of your contract. Well, sir, I'm sorry. Please! This is no time for pleasantries. I have recently discovered I am lining the pocketbooks of bigots! Well, Stephen Ross is nothing more of a passive investor. Passive investor! Passive investor. More like a passive top, fucking me, my morals, and my money. And I have some news for you. What kind of news, Nasser? That's Mrs. Samara to you, you fool! I guess it's time to tell you about my little friends. Male friends. Male friends who may or may not have been sucking my dick in the steam room for the past 6 months. And if I were locked in my contract, this type of behavior may have to continue. You do realize that is illegal. Don't fuck with me, fellas! This ain't my first time at the rodeo. I've also come in your eucalyptus towels multiple times. Thank you so much!